What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the obviously awesome Dr. Disaster, and there are some projects that you get involved with that are really difficult to bounce back from.
There ain't no coming back! There ain't no coming back!
Dragon Age the Veilguard is one such project. The game was absolutely terrible at virtually every level. It flopped in just about the most public and humiliating way imaginable, even with game journalist shills trying to prop it up. And if there was any justice, or hell, forget that, if there was just plain any common sense in the gaming industry, then the developers in important roles who worked on the Veilguard would find it difficult to land big jobs at new studios. However, this here is the self-proclaimed queerosexual gendermancer Corinne Bush who directed this piece of crap game, and Wizards of the Coast hired up Bush in a senior position right away.
Some people are really stupid.
Well, sadly, the video game industry has also had no problem hiring up the writers who worked on the Veilguard. You know, the brilliant geniuses who came up with dialogue like this.
I think your fingers are just perfect.
Yeah. So... are you trying to have sex with me?
Hadn't really thought that far ahead, but maybe?
Quick, think about us having sex.
I would rather get a dirty Sanchez than continue to watch this.
Now, with this context in mind, we must turn our attention to the Elder Scrolls franchise, because Bethesda hired one of the bozos who worked on the Veilguard. The Elder Scrolls franchise is one of the most beloved IPs in gaming, and they have not released a new title in about 14 years by now. And no, I'm not including the Elder Scrolls Online. The Elder Scrolls 6 is just about the most hotly anticipated game around, so you'd think they would be very discerning about who they bring on to make this game. After all, just about every writer in existence would want to work on this game, but we have just gotten word that this fellow right here, John Dombrow, the senior narrative designer / writer for the Veilguard, he was just brought on as senior quest designer at Bethesda, most likely working on the Elder Scrolls 6. Considering all the talent they could have hired, this absolutely blows my mind.
Well, it's time someone told you, no one f***ing likes that!
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also, I've started uploading some content onto Rumble as well, so make sure you look for Dr. Disaster over there, and don't forget to follow me on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster1. But anyways, let's take a gander at this fella that got hired on at Bethesda as a senior quest designer. Now, if you look at this LinkedIn for this guy, you can see at the top there that he was just brought on as a senior quest designer at Bethesda. The project that he's working on is not listed, so it's possible that maybe he's doing work on Starfield DLC or something like that, but I have a hard time believing he wouldn't just list Starfield if that was the case. No, it seems likely to me that the still untitled Elder Scrolls 6 is what he's working on, because with that game, there is still no official title listed on it. Isn't that crazy, by the way? The last real Elder Scrolls game came out in 2011, and we still don't even have the name of its follow-up. For as much as GTA fans like to joke about how long it has taken for GTA 6 to come out, Skyrim is actually 2 years older than GTA 5, and we still don't have a clue as to a release date. But anyhow, all that aside, this guy is a bad hire, and all it takes is a cursory glance at his resume on LinkedIn here to show you why. His previous job was working as the senior writer for Ghost of Yotei, which is one of many reasons why I'm expecting that game to be dog crap. Interestingly enough, Sucker Punch hired this John Dombrow guy from BioWare after working on the Veilguard, and they also hired this person here, Courtney Woods, who was another writer from the Veilguard. I will give Sucker Punch this though. Both of those writers were brought on a few years prior to the release of the Veilguard, so they would not have known what a colossal failure that game ended up being. But anyways, let's look at this guy's recent history with BioWare on his LinkedIn profile. It says he was a senior narrative designer and writer for Dragon Age the Veilguard, which of course was a total catastrophe. Prior to that, he had the same title of senior narrative designer / writer for Anthem, which, hey, would you look at that, another complete and total flop. And then, prior to that, he was the co-lead writer for Mass Effect Andromeda, easily the worst game in the Mass Effect series, to the point that most Mass Effect fans don't even really count that game in their headcanon. They just focus on the first 3 instead. And keep in mind that the reason that people generally hate Andromeda so much is because it is considered a deeply awful story, and if you look down here, this guy proudly boasts on his LinkedIn that he wrote the first 2 hours of that game. That should tell you everything you need to know about what kind of a failure of a hire this guy is for Bethesda. It's incredible how people in this industry just keep failing upward. I mean, it would be one thing if the guy had only been responsible for one bad game and the rest of his career was good, but the dude by now has a consistent track record of being involved in dog shit at this point. However, this isn't the first time that I have been off-put by the people that they have working on the Elder Scrolls 6. You may remember a few months ago, we discussed these images right here, which had circulated online showcasing 3 women who work at Bethesda these days in prominent positions. Now, it is true that these people have worked at the company for a while, but look here at how they've changed over the years. And no, I'm not talking about their weight. As people get older, they sometimes get heavier, and I'm not trying to make fun of them for that. But look at their hair and their piercings, and even just the expressions on their faces compared to how they used to look, how they used to carry themselves. These people now look as though they are utterly steeped in current thing politics. They are displaying all kinds of red flags that I look out for when it comes to people that should be avoided. And they represent 3 pretty important positions for the game. You've got the production and studio director, you've got the senior character artist, and you've got the senior environment artist. That is definitely disconcerting. Now, does all of this mean that the Elder Scrolls 6 is just utterly and completely doomed to be just plain terrible? Well, this writer that they brought on has a track record of working on games which ruined their respective franchises with wokeness, and Starfield was mocked pretty hard for its pronoun system in that game, so the signs are not looking great for Bethesda, considering that this writer is being brought on at a time which presumably should be considered late in the game's development stage, since the trailer for Elder Scrolls 6 dropped like 7 years ago. But considering all that, it is questionable as to how much influence he could have on the Elder Scrolls 6. On the other hand, bringing him in at all showcases a general lack of good judgment that tells me a lot about the current state of Bethesda in and of itself. I am a big Elder Scrolls fan, but my hope for the game to be good dwindles with every bit of new news that I hear. But anyhow, I'm gonna leave it there. What are your expectations for the Elder Scrolls 6? Drop your thoughts into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.